Fringe Radio, your trusted source for the paranormal, conspiracy theory, and true crime. Coming to you live from the Mistopheles Studios, it's Dark Fringe Radio.
All I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
The disease, and I'm the cure. That is power.
All right, welcome to Dark Fringe Radio. I am your host, Will Martinez, and thanks for joining us on another joyous adventure down some path we don't know where the fuck we're going, but we're going to have fun doing it. I'm your host, Will Martinez, and of course, my co-host, Jay Galoci. Jay, what's going on, brother? How you doing?
What up, what up, what up?
What's going on, brother? Everything good?
Everything's good, man. Just another day in paradise. You know, doing my thing. I like that new intro song. That's good.
Nice, right? Different?
Yeah.
Got the wolves in the background, like a little.
It's got kind of a Mike Myers techno.
Yeah. Like a
horror synth.
Horror synth, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I did one of those.
Yeah. Probably, right? Well, thanks guys for joining us on another, of course, episode of Dark Fringe Radio. Your number one spot for the paranormal, conspiracy theory, and true crime. Of course, we're going to get into a very important and interesting episode tonight. We're going to be talking about cryptids, real or fake. Me and Jay are going to really get into a little bit of debate on the whole cryptid, the whole topic of cryptids. So we're going to get into it. So did the whole thing. It's a lot to unpack, but we're going to get into it tonight. But first, Jay, I want to remind everybody where they can listen to the podcast. Jay, please remind everybody if you could.
You can catch us anywhere you catch our podcast, but the best place to get us is on Spreaker exclusively, or you can get it right from the source at darkfringeradio.com, mofos.
There you go. Well, yeah, that's exactly right, Jay. Thanks so much for that. And yeah, please, guys, check us out on our website, darkfringeradio.com. And of course, don't forget YouTube as well. All our stuff is on YouTube, so make sure you go there and subscribe to our page and like our stuff and subscribe, do all that good stuff. Please, we really appreciate it. It's really important to us. So thank you. We really appreciate you guys doing that. So also, as a reminder, social media, Facebook, Instagram, and of course, X or Twitter, formerly known as X or Twitter, formerly known as Twitter or whatever. Yeah, find us there at Dark Fringe Radio. So yeah, that's it. That's pretty much the intro, Jay. I want to get into some pretty interesting Dark Fringe news for tonight. You ready for some Dark Fringe news?
I'm always ready for Dark Fringe news.
Well, that's what I like to hear, man.
For 15 years, I've been trying to teach you how to write a lead. Do I have to do everything myself? Get the story, write the story?
We'll do it live! Fuck it!
I was looking at the James Brown wig.
Fucking thing sucks!
If that's your kind of thing, Maria, you love doing it yourself.
Sometimes, yeah. I can take.
Confucius say, I do not think the story had much validity.
Fucking thing sucks. Remember, we used to probably drop that line how many times we were editing in high school, and that fucking we didn't lay enough fucking black screen or what the fuck was it before we had to lay down before, right?
Yeah.
Remember that? People don't even know about that shit. People don't even know what that even is. We're probably talking like an alien language to them right now.
Very different kind of broadcasting. Very different kind of media. I remember getting kicked out because I called them the Santa losers.
That's fucking hilarious. But Jay, I wanted to go over a couple of pretty interesting items for tonight here at Dark Fringe News. First off, Jay, there's some big news coming out of the the TKO group. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that particular company.
Isn't that the group that owns the UFC and the WWE?
Yes, very much so, Jay.
That shit.
Well, Jay, there's been a big fucking I'm not sure if you've seen this or not, but blockbuster news that's come out of this whole thing. WWE founder Vince McMahon resigns after ex-employee's lawsuit accuses him of sexual assault and trafficking. So, Jay, this is a pretty interesting thing because there's been rumors of, things may have been happening back in the past, back in the day, you know what I mean? And, you hear these, supposed stories, but you never hear if it's true or not. It's all hearsay, kind of like the cryptid thing tonight that we're going to be talking about. Very, very, very similar in that way. But World Wrestling Federation Entertainment founder Vince McMahon stepped down from his role with the company and its parent company Friday, the day after a former employee filed a lawsuit accusing him of sex trafficking, abuse, and sexual assault. McMahon resigned from as the TKO executive chairman and from the TKO board of directors and will no longer have a role with the WWE. WWE President Nick Khan wrote an email to employees on Friday night. On Thursday, the former WWE employee Janelle Grant filed a lawsuit that stated she was the victim of a physical and emotional abuse, sexual assault, and trafficking at WWE. Today's complaint seeks to hold accountable two WWE executives who sexually assaulted and trafficked plaintiff Janelle Grant, as well as the organization's facilitated and turned a blind eye, basically, Jay, to the abuse and then swept it under the rug, her attorney Ann Callis suggested or said. McMahon has rejected the allegations and said that he looks forward to clearing his name. In a quote, he says, "I stand by my prior statement that Mrs. Grant's lawsuit is replete with lies, obscene made-up instances that never occurred, and is vindictive distortion of the truth," he said in a statement on Friday night. Unquote as well. However, out of respect for the WWE Universe, the extraordinary TKO business and its board members and shareholders, partners and constituents, and all of the employees and superstars who've helped make WWE in the global leader as it is today, I have decided to resign from my executive chairmanship and the TKO board of directors effective immediately. McMahon has not been criminally charged in a connection with the allegations in the lawsuit, but is being federally investigated at this point now, Jay. So there is a federal investigation now that's happening. Before his resignation, the TKO Group Holdings said McMahon did not control TKO or oversee day-by-day operations of WWE. While this matter predates our TKO executive team's tenure at the company, we take Ms. Grant's horrific allegations very seriously and are addressing this matter internally, and the company said in its statement. So, Jay, pretty stuff that's coming out of
that's fucking awful,
the professional wrestling world here, huh?
Yeah, it's awful.
Yeah,
it's awful. I mean, that woman's story, it's awful. I don't know if you've read any of it.
Oh, I have.
Yeah, so have I. It's terrible, man. It's horrific. It goes beyond horrific. It's on a whole new level and
a shitty level.
I'm sorry. They can say he wasn't taking
a shitty level.
This guy.
Did you read that part?
I did. That's why I made the joke earlier.
Oh, yeah.
I just thought you were jumping on the back of my joke.
No, I didn't hear you. Sorry.
On the back.
That's how good we are. We jump on each other's back of the jokes. We didn't even know.
Dang. This guy.
Hey.
Vince McMahon's been ghost running the WWE for
40 years.
However long now, right? Bullshit. He wasn't in the day to day, and nobody believed that, and nobody's gonna believe that. I'm sure they crossed their T's and dotted their I's in the ways that they need to, but come on, there's no way. So, and if you go back and you listen to half the stories from there's a docuseries on YouTube called Dark Side of the Ring.
Yeah,
great series. It's great series. God awful. The stuff those guys.
Oh, it's depressing as fuck. Yeah, it's not.
Yeah.
There's no rainbows and sunshines at the end of these.
No, do not watch that if you believe that anything.
Like for me and Jay, we could watch that shit because we just expect bad shit to happen, right?
Yeah, because I'm a cynical bastard.
Yeah, exactly. But if you're not looking for that, that's definitely not the show to watch because it's definitely not rainbows and sunshine at the end. Definitely not.
If you're still taking your vitamins, kiddies. Okay. If you're still Hulkamania, do not ever watch it. But otherwise, if you don't mind seeing that glass broken, baby is great.
Or even if you're a Ric Flair fan, I mean, come on,
Woo!
Woo. I mean, we're talking about like this stuff that's happening now. I mean, I know he didn't do any kind of this stuff, but he did expose himself to a couple of people.
Everybody.
Everybody, right?
Everybody.
That's what
Always.
he was
From
known
like
for.
college.
Just expose
Even
himself,
before
right?
even when he was still Ric Flair, he was exposing himself at college.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wild.
Okay.
Wild. Well,
Listen,
Jay,
guess
I
when
mean,
you got it, it.
yeah, I mean, so this is going to be a pretty interesting thing because now they're saying there's other people that are going to be coming out. There was over, I think, $19 million of hush money NDAs that he
Always
paid out.
is.
So yeah, so there's supposed to be like another 2 or 3 other women that are supposed to come out with their own stories.
You
It's
know
gonna
what? Sidebar, something really kind of pissed me off.
What's that?
And this is something that shows the immorality of government if you really think about it.
Yeah, please.
The fact that you can have someone write up an NDA
Right.
that has these things written in it that if I pay you, you can't go talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
That shouldn't be illegal, period. That
It
NDA
shouldn't.
It shouldn't hold up in court. It shouldn't.
And you know what, Jay? The only reason why supposedly she broke the NDA is because the initial agreement was him to pay her $3 million.
Yep.
And he only paid the first $1 million, the initial installment, and then decided to fucking give her the old kibosh again and say, fuck you. Right. Meanwhile, he just sold stock for like $500 million, like within I think the last 4 or 5 months. But nonetheless, I mean, now it's going to come in handy for these lawyers he's going to need because he's in a shit world of fucking trouble right now at this point.
Yeah, listen, you can still run for president and be what?
Whoa, Jay. I don't know, Jay. Oh.
So what?
Oh.
Shit.
Is that a shot fired, Jay?
Probably. Oh shit, that's definitely one. Duck and cover, guys.
Oh Lord.
Just saying.
Oh my God.
It doesn't exactly seem like being held accountable matters to predict these days. So
no. Hey, listen, you could run for governor or Congress, and listen, you could sound like this.
A werewolf can kill a vampire. Did you know that? I never knew that, so I didn't want to be a vampire anymore. I want to be a werewolf.
There you go.
Well, this fucking Herschel Walker.
This is Herschel Walker himself talking about werewolves and vampires on the campaign trail. So again, point taken right there. But yeah, Jay, I mean, yeah, does this you think this is the end of the McMahon regime and the WWE? You think they're going to clean house?
Yeah, no, they won't be able to get past us. TKO is not. If
Ari Emanuel, all right, that's the guy.
Maybe Dana White could get away with this kind of thing. Maybe.
Not even. I don't think.
Maybe. Maybe. Only because.
Jay, did you read the shit that this guy was doing?
I did.
Come on.
Okay, I did.
I don't think anything. Oh man.
I'm not saying he could. I'm just saying if there were somebody in that.
Possibly. Well, he did smack his wife in front of the camera, right?
And what was it? Listen, guys, seriously, you don't have to bring it up again. I'm punishing myself enough.
Oh, yeah. Well, nonetheless, yeah, I think this is the end of the McMahon regime in the WWE. I think they're going to really clean house. I think Ari Emanuel, who's the guy who's on top of all this stuff, who's on top of TKO, he's going to really clean house. And the interesting thing is that what is he going to do with like the guys that have been in the fucking trenches and actually been working this motherfucker, the WWE, and actually been making this thing work while he's gone. You know what I mean? Like, but then again, they're also family members of Vince McMahon, talking about Triple H, who's like the head of creative, It's really interesting what's going to happen. I mean, are they going to get rid of that guy too? I mean, because he's, the son-in-law or,
Well, it will have to depend on how deep those allegations go as to how far that web of people who are in the no-go. Right. How many people knew exactly what was going on and kept their mouth shut? That's a lot. That's a lot of accountability, man. That's a lot of people. It's a lot of people who could be not allowed to perform anymore. Yeah. I mean, who knows?
So another part of this puzzle here, Jay, is that this girl was offered to an unnamed superstar who was also a ex-UFC heavyweight champion. We know who that is. Brock Lesnar. And he's been pretty much washed from WWE as of late. He was supposed to participate on the Royal Rumble. He didn't. They've put his merchandise at half off. It seems like they're pretty much positioning themselves to kind of like move away from him.
I mean, come on, man. It's Brock Lesnar.
I mean, yeah.
Okay, listen. Through watching all those documentaries and getting elbows deep lately for some reason into really old wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
Here's what I've come to find: the ones that were the best were the ones that were the closest to their kayfabe, the ones that actually lived it. Vince McMahon has definitely lived his Vince McMahon character.
Oh yeah.
And while we all thought it was less, it was not.
No.
It may have been a little bit more. In reality, by him being that crazy. But those guys, the ones that are Bret the Hitman Hart is really a very talented technical amateur wrestler, right?
Right.
That wasn't just bullcrap. Shawn Michaels is probably one of the biggest show-offs you'll ever meet. Look at his character. It fits. Most of those great characters really were kayfabe off who they were.
Right.
Or just extensions of. We cannot be surprised that Brock Lesnar
the
is
caveman
implicated in some problems. The guy's got a fucking claymore tattooed right down the breastbone. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
And who's gonna tell them otherwise?
It's an interesting thing that's happening because it's a huge company, and obviously it's something that you obviously don't want to hear happening inside of a company, especially women being
not what you care about.
No, of course.
And
WWE
is we grew up watching wrestling.
It's part of our childhood, of course.
It's part of what led me to actually wrestling. It's part of why I may have been so good because I was already pre-practicing.
There you go. So it's the fabric of America. It's part of the fabric of America, at least in my opinion.
Absolutely.
All right, Jay. Let's switch gears here for a second, and let's get off of that platform, and let's move on to the
let's lighten it up a little bit.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure if I'm going to lighten it up a little bit. I think I'm going to probably dim it a lot more darker. If I'm going to go by what I'm going to be talking about here in a second. But we're going to be talking about here, Jay, the Kansas City Chiefs fans found dead had 3 times the lethal amount of fentanyl plus cocaine, reports suggest. So,
right.
Jay, have you heard about this story?
I have.
So this is a very interesting story that all of a sudden
that
3 guys died in some dude's backyard all of a sudden, and they were all died together, and there was no there was no evidence of any kind of murder. It wasn't like somebody came and killed them. It just seemed like they just fucking fell dead. And that seems like what they pretty much did here, Jay. Yeah. It sounds like initial toxicology reports. The 3 Kansas City Chiefs fans found frozen and dead in a friend's yard, found cocaine, THC, and 3 times the amount of fentanyl that is enough to kill, basically. The families of David Harrington, Clayton McGeeney, and Ricky Johnson, who were found dead outside their friend Jordan Willis's house in Kansas City on January 9th, confirmed to WDAF that the police have the initial reports on the illicit drugs and dead men's systems. Among the substances were cocaine, fentanyl, according to TMZ and New Nation. A family member who asked to remain anonymous tells me that cocaine, fentanyl, and of course THC showed up in the preliminary results. News Nation national correspondent Alex Caparello wrote on Twitter. The family sources say that the level 10 fentanyl is enough to kill. The Kansas City 3 were at level 30. So, Jay, that's 3 times the fucking, strength of what you're supposed to be taking. That's pretty up there. It's already enough to kill. And, now let's triple it up, baby. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, did you know that the owner of the home, the guy, was known as the chemist?
Well, yes, he's a scientist. He's an HIV scientist. So he does have some type of chemical, background, but I guess from all accounts, he basically told cops what happened and where they got the drugs from. And so that's why the cops from the very beginning never suspected this as a homicide. So again, Jay, at the beginning, a lot of people were pointing fingers towards this guy, and he was just the only, it seems like the only lucky one who had the fucking brains enough to go inside to pass out. From sniffing up the old Satan's dandruff there.
Was it iocane powder? They spent time building up an immunity to it. Come on,
Right.
man.
Oh, come on,
Come
man.
on, man.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
Really? No, I don't know what happened, man. Just my 3 buddies just having to pass out and die outside in the
So
the
fucking
cold.
crazy.
But
People, man,
I just happened to get in.
stay away from cocaine, man. That shit
Cocaine
is
is no
so
good for
bad
you.
right now.
No
You don't
good for
even know what you're getting right now, man.
No, you don't.
It's so
You don't.
nuts.
And
You don't
it
even
was
know.
bad. It was bad when we were kids, fortunately.
Oh, it's people. It was bad when we were kids, yeah, but at least they were just getting yeeted up,
Aspirin.
and then they pass out after, after they've had their rush and they're high. But now it's like they die. You don't come back from the shit.
Yeah, because what's cut with? Because it's not these days. It's not even really much cocaine in there.
That's true, right? It's everything else.
That raw.
Right. Yeah.
It's people taking their ADHD medication and chopping it up and then mixing that with a few other things and making it look that way. And unless you know, you know.
Yeah. Well, supposedly, Jay, Kansas City police have confirmed that they have been in touch with the families. There have been no additional details on the case revealed to any media, nor there have been any plans to do so at this time. The case remains as an ongoing death investigation, as a police spokesperson told the outlet on Thursday. Drug use has been speculated as a contributing factor in the men's deaths. Willis, an HIV scientist, checked himself into a rehab for substance abuse after his friends were found dead, of course, his parents have said. Attorney Tony Kage for McGinney's family said that he would not personally see the report, but it's just the first step in finding out what happened to the men. Again, this is a case, Jay, of, I guess, misadventure, right? That's what they call it. A case, death by misadventure, unfortunately.
That's what it's getting filed under as, but
yeah, unfortunately. But yeah, Jay, I mean,
I have my suspicions.
I did too, and then I had a little bit of hope when some of the family members said that those guys that they, whoever they were related to, they weren't doing drugs, or they would never do drugs like that, or that kind of hardcore drug. But you don't know what they're doing. Come on, please. At the end of the day, you know what I mean? They're out there getting yeeted on cocaine.
William.
Yeah.
William. That was not their normal kind of a thing. I promise. Even if
you don't think so?
No.
You think it was their first time doing something like that?
No, I mean, do you really want to know what I think?
Yeah, please. Listen, I want to hear what's your suspicion?
Oh, I think those motherfuckers were killed. I think he did it on purpose.
You think,
I don't think
so?
that was accidental. 100%.
For what? For what purpose?
Oh, I don't know. Because he's cuckoo. Do you need any more of a reason?
Listen, I get it. I mean, yeah, there's always that possibility.
Isn't that like...
There's always that possibility. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Is he not like super bright?
But I think that, yes, he's super bright. But then again, he did pass out for 2 days himself before he got up. So he just happened to be passed out inside, according to what he said.
So William,
according to what he said, of course,
he's a chemist,
right?
If he is,
see, usually, Jay, you're going to the side that I usually go on, and you're usually the one that's trying to pull me back from the conspiracy side of this here thing.
Well, this isn't much of a conspiracy. I'm sorry.
What was some random HIV scientist wanted to just kill 3 of his random friends?
Okay, we don't know all the backstory now, do we? We don't know all the backstory.
Well, I'm sure the police investigated it.
This guy could have just, because nobody's ever gotten away with murder before.
No, I'm not saying that either.
My point.
Okay.
Bro. Okay. Do we need to know the reason why? No. Okay. Because the reason will vary depending on the human experience. Do we need to know if they were hardcore partiers? No. There's far too much coincidence here. You have 3 people who just happened to die, and the guy who owned the home just happened to be the one that survived. The chemist? was the only one who didn't seem to take too much drugs or accidentally ingest too much drug. Listen, man. You can pee on my boots. Don't tell me it's right.
He's going down the conspiracy theory. I like it. That's good.
What's the conspiracy about it?
Hey, the cops did an investigation, Jay.
Listen, cops can be fucking inept.
Absolutely, but at the end of the day, most cops, what they try to do is try to put as many charges on you as possible, and then they try to just weed out one by one.
Sure.
There was nothing they could put on this guy from the get-go.
Again, he's intelligent.
This guy is innocent. Just like, if there was any suspicion, they would have jumped on it. Trust me, Jay. Any suspicion.
Oh, would they, William?
I would think so.
Oh, would they, William?
Oh, here we go. See, now you're talking about me. You're the conspiracy theorist here. Now, here we go.
Whoa. I do believe tonight's. I just friends, just so you guys know, I have no idea about what our tonight's. I know that we're talking about cryptids, and it was my idea to debate this thing. But beyond that, Will's been setting this shit up. So let me be very clear. It's not that this is not a conspiracy. I do not believe.
I
don't believe in random numbers, and I don't believe in this guy's story. Okay,
you don't believe that fucking 4 random ass dudes fucking decided, hey, let's get a bag of cocaine, and said, yo, and then one of them who was actually a homeowner decided, hey, maybe I need to go take a piss, and maybe went inside, took a piss, and before he could come out, he fell asleep on the couch, passed out on the couch. Let's just say that. How unreasonable is that, Jay? Does not sound unreasonable. And then 3 out of the 4 died because they were outside. They passed out because of the fentanyl, and then died from hypothermia from being outside in below freezing weather.
Yeah.
It wasn't the fentanyl that killed them. It was the fentanyl that made them fall asleep that ended up making them pass out, and then the cold got to them. The hypothermia got to them. So
if that's the story that you want to believe, guy.
Here we go.
William.
Oh, Jay.
Dude, this guy killed him. That's all there's to it. That's all there's to it. Allegedly.
I like that.
Allegedly. Sorry.
Allegedly. All right. Well, that's good.
Because I don't actually have any. I don't have any. That's the same reason why we don't know what could happen.
We don't know.
I don't know what could happen, so it was alleged.
That's right.
My feelings are what they are.
How does private chat work, right?
Probably gonna get myself in some serious trouble one day.
Oh, Joey. Oh, boy. All right, Jay. Well, listen, that's a good wrap up for Dark Fringe News. That brings us to our next segment here. What the F, Florida Man? Jay, are you ready for some What the F, Florida Man?
I am, and it's oddly on point for tonight.
Yeah, let's do it.
Florida man.
A Florida man. A Florida man.
A Florida man.
Now to the town of Seffner, Florida, near Tampa, where last night the earth opened up, as it does increasingly, and this time it swallowed a 37-year-old man as he slept in his home.
A man accused of destroying a liquor store in Okaloosa County told police he was in Alice in Wonderland. Oh. Matthew Horace Jones also said a caterpillar smoking a hookah told him to do it.
A man calls 911 while Collier County Sheriff's deputies are chasing him, and he says Donald Trump, our president, is his personal friend, a close one at that.
A Lake Worth man is not too happy. He's accused of getting violent when waiters at a restaurant told him they weren't giving away free pizza.
Covering Florida this morning, a Key West man is behind bars. Investigators say he was caught with a large amount of cocaine hidden in this Cookie Monster doll.
Holy shit, man.
Holy shit, man, Jay.
Holy shit, man.
Right? You ready? What do you have for us this week for What the F, Florida Man, Jay?
Florida man on golf cart blows a .339 blood alcohol level.
Shit. Did he burn the fucking thing device? He must have melted that fucking device, bro.
Seriously, man.
How did he even fucking go that high?
At some point, it's got to just read error, right?
I got punched at a .005. This guy.
.339.
Holy shit, man.
Yeah.
Tell us a story here, Jay.
Florida man Alfred Constant Mathieu decided to go for a cruise on his golf cart early on a Friday morning as the cops found him driving the cart on a major highway. When the man was stopped by the officers, he claimed to be coming home from work at a local Lowe's. He appeared to be intoxicated. No shit.
No.
The fact that that guy could speak is nothing short of a miracle, man.
Wow.
Matthew was found to be driving without a valid license, and several
shit.
bottles of alcohol were found under the seat of the car. Duh.
That was his fuel. Not for
As
the
the man's
car.
blood alcohol
for him.
content was say it was 0.339, which was many times the legal
damn.
limit, and he was arrested and is being held in jail. Oh, duh.
0.339. That's got to be a fucking record. I want to know what the fucking record is for the highest fucking BAC is in the fucking state. That'd be interesting. In fact, you know what? Let me fucking Google that. How about that?
Google that stuff.
Highest recorded
I don't know why I didn't say
BAC level ever. Here we go. It's coming up.
It's a weird question to ask her, please believe it or not.
So check this out, Jay. There was a Polish man who holds the world record of 1.480. So he basically tripled, quadrupled that.
How did he not die of alcohol poisoning?
I don't know. That's so crazy.
That's crazy.
Polish guy. 1.408, Jay. That's like 4 or 5.
He had to be a big guy, right? He had to be a big dude.
I would hope so. Because he couldn't be some dudes your size, dude, because that would be
No, I'd be dead.
You'd be dead, dude. You'd be dead. Yeah, you
I'd be a
wouldn't
tenth of my
able to
body. I'd be a tenth of the fluid in my body would be alcohol. I'd be dead.
talk. Holy shit. Where did this happen, Jay?
I don't remember.
Okay, that's fine. Well,
and
somewhere in the sunny state of Florida. Yeah, you got to watch out around this fucking state, man. There's wild people.
Somewhere in the middle, that I can tell you.
Oh, I'm sure. Ocala, fucking one of those places.
We do seem to get a lot from Tampa.
Yes, of course. Yeah, Pinellas County, Tampa. Yeah, of course. But yeah, Jay, thanks for that. What the Florida man? Jeez, Louise, 0.33.
0.339.
I thought that was bad, and then we just found out that Polish guy blew a 1.4.
Bro.
Holy shit, man! Oh my god. Well,
respect.
Jay, out of respect,
right? Man, respect.
You should play the Polish national anthem for that one.
Wow. He needs to carry the flag at their next Olympics, man.
Oh my god!
Like seriously, that's talent. I mean, that's gold medal, bro.
That's unbelievable. Well, Jay, thanks so much for that. What that Florida man, really appreciate it. We're gonna get into our debate here in a little bit with talking about cryptids. They exist, real or fake. We're gonna get into that here in a second. So make sure you come back and listen to us at Dark Fringe Radio. We'll be right back. All right, guys, welcome back to Dark Fringe Radio. I'm your host, Will Martinez, and of course, Jay Galoci. And tonight we're going to be talking about the ever elusive cryptids.
Cryptids.
You ready, Jay?
Yeah, hit it.
So, Jay, this is something you brought up, and this is something that's discussed about within the paranormal community, of course, conspiracy theory community as well. It kind of bleeds over into both areas. You know what I mean?
Yeah, makes sense.
A little bit of true crime sometimes, depending if some of these supposed.
Well, if you play fast and loose with that word "true," sure, true like Rudy, maybe, sure.
Based on a true story. Based.
I'm sorry. I take
allegedly.
I take that back. Rudy was an actual person.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I apologize. Maybe if we're talking, true like Merlin.
Gotcha. Merlin the magician. Well, Jay, let's talk about cryptids and what they are exactly, right?
Hit it.
So, of course, cryptids are creatures whose existence is suggested by anecdotal or alleged evidence, but is not recognized by the scientific consensus. These creatures often come from folklore, mythology, or purported sightings, but lack of conclusive evidence of their existence. Some famous examples include, of course, we're going to be talking about tonight, Bigfoot, the Loch Ness Monster, the Chupacabra, the New Jersey Devil. Cryptids spark curiosity and fascination, leading to various investigations and debates about their potential reality. So, of course, Jay, let's get into the cryptids here. So let's start off on just the very surface of things. You don't believe any cryptids exist or possibly exist?
No, I don't think any of the cryptids exist. As far as, do I believe there are species and things that have not yet been discovered, or that we haven't identified, that we could file along a particular species or genre? Yes, I do. Do I think that there is some 7-foot missing link monkey man out there running in the wilderness of Oregon? No, I don't.
So let's talk about that Bigfoot. That's of course
my favorite of the monster trucks.
I know,
baby.
I know that's your favorite one.
It's my favorite one.
We actually interviewed Todd Neese. Todd Neese is a Bigfoot researcher for many years. He actually appeared on, didn't even know that when we actually interviewed him, that he actually appeared on Unsolved Mysteries at an earlier episode back in the early 90s, late 80s. And of course appeared on our show. And we had him on our show, and he explained how he saw a family of 3 Bigfoot people when they were clearing an area because he was a logger, of course, during that time. And he was part of the Peace Corps, I believe, and doing work with them. And anyways, a long story short, we talked to him. It was kind of it was a trying episode because, he did go on for a very long.
He did. He carried on. Because I had the audacity to ask him and say, I don't believe, I'm a non-believer. What would you show me to maybe start to sway me? And he said, well, do your own research. I'm sorry. You're here on the platform to expound, to speak, to inform those who are less informed. That would be me. That would be one of the reasons why we're having this conversation just this very evening. Actually, it's because of this.
Yeah.
Because I don't believe.
Yeah, no, I understand what you're saying too. And it's hard for when you interview somebody and they tell you that, when it's so easy just to dismiss somebody just to say that, without giving them any, pieces of evidence or at least information to go by to say, hey, okay, listen, how about research this, this, and this? And then you're like, okay, I'll go research that. Yeah. But if he tells you just go research it,
I just go do
what are you supposed to go research? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Where do I start? Yeah. What do I look at?
Right.
Give me a reason to go do research. I find no reason to expend any extra energy.
Okay. So Jay,
maybe after tonight.
Talking about Bigfoot, because that's the most common.
That's the entry point.
Right. That's the entry point where we talk about cryptids.
It's the missing link.
Well, it's a missing link, but again, Jay, there's been so many supposed sightings of this thing, Jay. Don't you think just by
coincidence?
No, just by numbers, by statistics. Don't you think maybe a small percentage of maybe those sightings, maybe a very small percentage, was a true sighting
of an animal that we have never found a single bone, fossil, or hair record of? No, I don't. Okay. Do I think that humans are awful things? Yes, I do.
Oh, listen, if today's episode was "Are Humans Evil?"
It would be a very short episode.
Episode. Good night, guys. 2 minutes, and it would have been yes, and then dun, 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 out credits. Yeah. But we're not talking about that. But yeah, I get what you're saying. Absolutely.
Yeah, I believe that.
And not only that, I'm saying that there's sightings here in the United States in the Pacific Northwest. There's other sightings of similar type of animals in China, Asia. We're talking about the Yeti and things of that nature that are very similar. So this is not something that is just found here in North America. This is also found in different areas of the world.
Okay.
Again, is it Gigantopithecus that supposedly that did exist at one point?
But we found parts of the giant say that one more time.
Gigantopithecus. Atlantic High School education.
Public school, baby.
Yeah, baby.
Gen Pop.
There we go.
The Australopithecus. We actually found parts of that, right? We found things to show that at some point it existed, or there's a possibility of it existing. The Yeti, the Bigfoot, any one of those similar, and I'll try to keep them all Sasquatchian. We've not found a single piece of any of
Sasquatch, I
them.
like that.
Yeah, Sasquatchian. That's what they would be.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Well,
mostly
Jay.
from Canada.
Yeah.
Saskatchewan. Anyways, so we've never found them. So can a race that is all built fairly similarly mentally, where our brains are built a certain way to fill in certain things, see certain things that then become stories so far back that we can't really trace back how far, who came up with this idea of this kind of an animal, to where somebody then went out and said, I'm going to fuck with some people, and then started to actually fuck with some people.
Okay, I get that, and I'm with you 100%. Jay, you know that the scientific community has basically said that there are multiple, dimensions. Obviously, right? They've come out and said that publicly. They've said that yes, there's different dimensions. Obviously,
and I believe in the multiple dimensions. You know that.
Okay, yeah, and we've talked about this many times on the podcast.
Sure,
what do you think of Bigfoot being an interdimensional creature? And maybe that's the reason why we haven't found bones, or the reason why we haven't found fur or evidence of such thing.
So here's where I go to that next level.
Right.
We've never seen any of the things that might travel interdimensionally, which are still, we're talking highly theoretical on a handful of eyewitness and personal accounts. So we could even poke holes in the validity of the inner dimensions actually crossing over in such a way that something can go from one space to another like that. But again, at some point, something would happen and there would be some piece of evidence. The way they can track where a pube goes in a house is insane. They would have found something of Bigfoot or a Saskatchewan.
Yeah, maybe. But then again, if its main realm is in a different dimension and it just happens to bleed over in ours, maybe it maybe lessens the percentage of that actually happening. You know what I mean? And then again, we're talking about a hair, and then in
I have a dog.
Nature, environment. That's literally like a needle in a haystack. So
I have a little white dog.
Yeah.
And this little white dog has lots of white hair. And that white hair gets fucking everywhere, William. Okay? I vacuum this hair nonstop. I lint roll everything I own multiple times. That dog does not go anywhere near my car. If you go through my car, do you think you're going to find little white hairs from that dog? Yes. Yes, you will.
You will.
Even if Bigfoot or the Yeti or any of the Saskatchewans were to have their main realm be somewhere else in that intertravel, especially with all that hair and fur, something's going to fall off. We're going to come across something that is going to allude us to something that we don't understand that might match that, and we haven't. There's been nothing. There's been nothing incontrovertible. There's only been, hey. That's a big.
Well, there has been hair that's been picked up, and they say it's in, like, they have no idea what it is.
It was an orangutans, dude.
It wasn't synthetic, Jay. They can figure that out.
I didn't say synthetic. I said orangutans. Did I say synthetic? I didn't say it was made up. I didn't say it was fake. I didn't say it was plastic. I didn't say it was made from tea leaves. I said it was orangutan.
Yeah, well, Jay, again, when we get into the whole cryptid, the like you said, the entry point is Bigfoot. All right, let's move on from there. Nessie. Yeah.
Sorry.
These fucking people in Scotland, man, they are on Nessie.
Oh, are they?
Well, they think a pliosaur is down there. They think a pliosaur is down there in that lake. So, you think it's possible that a pliosaur could still be down there?
No.
No.
No. Okay. So, first off, let's landscape this. This is a tourist thing. This is making an area money.
Yeah.
And lots of it. Okay. And I'm all for, like, if I ever go to Scotland, I am 100% going to go to Loch. And I'm
And they just fire up the
100% going to
Nessie
buy
story every once in a while just to get things going.
100%.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, just to enjoy the experience. But do I actually think there's a Pliosaurus swimming around that fucking lake or the remnants and legacy of? No, I don't. Because those things did not live that long. We're talking millions of years. There would have needed to be a lot more of a population. Inbreeding alone would have caused that thing to go extinct within that body of water. They've trudged through that thing. They've sonar read through that thing. They have gone up and down that motherfucker. That animal does not exist. The Loch Ness Monster is a great story and a whole lot of fun.
Nice.
But it's not real.
All right, Mothman. Let's move on. Mothman, of course, he was the winged hominid that reportedly was seen in Point Pleasant, West Virginia, associated with disaster sightings, basically. So they basically say if you see the Mothman, usually it's a kind of a dire warning something's going to happen, right after that, that sighting supposedly. That's what happened supposedly there at Point Pleasant, West Virginia. Now, this is actually carried on to a lot more in the Chicagoland area, Jay, where they're starting to see the Mothman. A lot of supposedly sightings there in that area. So talking about downtown, talking about areas that is highly populated. We're not talking about rural areas of Chicago. We're talking about downtown Chicago, Michigan Avenue. What do you say about Mothman? What's your thoughts?
Eyewitnesses,
yeah.
Video, picture.
Video, yeah. I mean, come on. We'd love to have a video. Everybody would love
right, wouldn't we?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So
that's like the holy grail of these things, right? To get a video of something like this.
Right. So without proof, what do we have? We have people who are going through some shit. And sometimes, and I'll be the first to say, I am a believer in the paranormal. My father has come through on this podcast multiple times.
Oh yeah. Audibly.
Okay? Yeah. Because again, my father likes to show off.
Oh yeah.
He likes to do it with style. But again, even with that, right? Even with that, there is a little bits of evidence. There's something there that if you're a little open, you can have a conversation about. There's nothing here. There's nothing but people saying, I think I saw that thing. And then, oh no, this bad thing happened.
Yeah, okay. I get what you're saying, but the people keep saying they see the same thing and they keep describing the same thing over and over again. That's a little bit different. And that's where we kind of get into like, okay, why are these people in the same area are reporting the same thing and seeing the same thing? And it's not like that. It's like I don't
think cooperation. No.
Yeah, it's not cooperation.
I don't think it's cooperation. But you can also have areas where people are affected in mass in traumatic events like that. If you go through the earthquakes in San Francisco in the 80s and the Chicago fires, you'll come across a lot of different things that people are attaching it to that there's just no proof of. It's mass trauma looking for a reason as to why this happened, because it's really hard to just say sometimes shitty things happen to good people.
So you don't think that there's ever a possibility that maybe there's some science, black budget science, project that's happening that we don't know about, and something gets loose and escapes? You don't think that's ever happened in the history of science?
Now you're mixing. Well, science fiction, sure. In fact, one of my favorite Pixar movies. About the 50-foot woman. Great. Dr. House played the cockroach. It was great.
Yeah.
Anyway, do I believe that the government has black projects? Yes. Do I believe sometimes those black projects get out? Yes. Do I believe they are Mothman, gargoyles, Bigfoot, Yeti, the 50-foot woman, a talking cockroach, or the blob? No.
Why? Why not?
Why not?
Why wouldn't you think so?
because you're never going to be able to control an animal like that. There's nothing you can do to control anything of those nature. And if there's one thing I know about government black ops, it's that they kind of like control.
Well, that's the whole purpose of having it under scientific investigation or scientific, is that you have control over the whole thing. So
no, the mind control is only subliminal control to a certain point. At some point, the subject just goes completely insane. No creature is set up to have its brain controlled to that level to where they can use it and off it goes. They will never create anything like that. It's going to eliminate control.
Didn't the Russians train a bunch of dolphins to carry explosives?
You can train. Whoa, that's totally different. We're talking about training animals and talking about genetically crossbreeding and creating an animal of disaster.
That's what I'm saying. Why not make that animal that you already know that you can make it, tell it what to do? Why not try to do something with that said animal and try to make it?
I want sharks with lasers on their
right.
heads.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, extra.
No,
evil.
come on, man. No.
Oh,
you
yeah,
can train
man.
just like you train. You can train animals to do some pretty amazing things. And the Russians have definitely pushed the limits of what you'll do with animals. But again, just sheer science alone, you can't crossbreed certain animals and create something that suddenly blows fire. It doesn't work that way. So there's only so much splicing of things that you're going to do that's going to create certain kinds of creatures or
half-breeds.
Sure. Half-breeds.
Hominids. Half-hominids.
I mean, you might find a homunculus or two, but that's my family. So,
well, that brings me to one of the other ones that's really well known, Jay, and you've heard of this one a million times. The chupacabra. They believe that one was a science experiment gone wrong, of course, in the island of Puerto Rico, because there is a research facility there. There is a Army research facility there in the town of Vieques, and Vieques is in the southern part of the island, and it is completely shut off, but supposedly they think that the chupacabra actually came from that particular lab. Now, of course, that's very fantastical. That's great to think that. You know what I mean? But I would not put that as a possibility of something to happen as far as having some type of creature out there that we don't understand. And then again, we've only really really researched or discovered certain parts of the world. There's still only we've only discovered 10% of the ocean. God knows what kind of cryptids are in there that we haven't discovered. We think that's a cryptid that
so those are, and that to me, that's a whole nother subject, right? That's an undiscovered area with undiscovered and unimaginable things, because that pressure, just to be able to handle that amount of pressure, those animals are going to be they're going to be alien to us.
Well, yeah, you're talking about under
that
the
being said, you're not going to you're not going to find the Little Mermaid down there. You're
in
not
that same
Ariel.
thing, in that same vein, you can say the same thing about the Pacific Northwest. As much as you want to say that we've discovered it, how much of it have we really discovered? I mean, really gone through?
Enough
we may have an idea of
bones
how
of dinosaurs millions of years old,
well, Jay,
and not one single Bigfoot.
Again, still, we haven't really traversed all of the Pacific Northwest. So again, it's really we haven't. We have not. I mean, it's just that's the truth at the end of the day.
Sure. And I will concede that no, we have not searched every inch of this planet. And until we do, people are not going to be satisfied. But let's just hear me out, right? The way the Earth is built, right? You have a layer of soil, right? And then things build on top of it, right? And as the days go, right, it's always a new level of shit on top of that stuff, right? And then things die, and then things get packed on top of them. So we found these things that are millions of years old and no Bigfooties.
Again, we can only cover so much land as humans. We have not traversed all of the Pacific Northwest.
I give it to them. They have a bigger stride than us.
They do.
But mostly because they're not real.
Well, Jay, how about the New Jersey Devil? That's I found this one quite interesting because it's on the
Didn't we
East
vote for
Coast.
him?
Huh? The New Jersey Devil? No, we haven't talked about him yet. And it's a creature known to inhabit to the Pine Barrens part of New Jersey, described as a winged bipedal creature with hooves, basically. So supposedly it can fly and has hooves and it looks like a half horse and half devil kind of thing. A lot of people have claimed to have seen this thing from
sure
hundreds of years of supposed sightings.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, again, what do you think they're seeing there, Jay? I mean, maybe just a bat cryptid thing that they don't understand or haven't seen before. Do you think a lot of these cryptids are just things that we haven't discovered yet? Maybe.
I think a lot of these cryptids don't exist. I'm sorry, I have not made that point.
You don't think it's something that maybe we haven't
clear?
discovered yet?
I don't. I think there are things we haven't discovered. I don't think
that get blamed for being like the Bigfoot or get blamed for being the Loch Ness Monster or whatever.
I don't think we're ever going to discover a winged, cloved, horse-like, half lion, half tiger.
It's not a half lion, half tiger.
Yes, I'm being a bit. Yeah, I'm being a bit extreme. Yes, I sure am. Yes, because that's my point, William. That's my fucking point, right?
I get it.
That's my point. Will we come across things that we've never seen before? Absolutely.
Right.
There are things that we can't even imagine yet. But here's my problem. Those things that we can't imagine, when we find them, we'll find them and we'll be like, oh, that makes sense because it all goes. But then we start go, oh, well, I think there's that really thing that takes these wide steps, or there's that thing that's got hooves and wings and claws, and when it comes down, it eats your babies. Like,
how about the Thunderbird, Jay?
It's one of my favorite cars.
No, but the cryptid Thunderbird. Now, this is supposedly a bird that supposedly has a wingspan of like 75 feet, and just a gigantic thing of a bird. And the Native Americans are the ones who really brought this into folklore. They normally don't believe, there's no like mythical creatures they really believe in besides the Thunderbird and the Sasquatch. Everything else they have a name for, but oddly enough, the Thunderbird is the one they have a name for, and the Sasquatch they have multiple names for. So it's really interesting in that, if you were to follow that, of course, thought of thinking that these people had a name for just about every animal. They didn't have anything as far as mythical animals, but they sure as hell had, multiple ones for Sasquatch and Bigfoot. But again, a Thunderbird I think is pretty interesting because I think that could be something that's very possible.
No.
Why not? Why can't a bird that's so high that could fly so high up in the air in its Earth's atmosphere that it can't be, videotaped or, a picture could be taken of it? Because it can be that high.
The
same reasons why eagles.
We can be that high, dude. We can be that high. Okay. Yes, birds can fly extremely high, and one that would have a 75-foot wingspan would fly extremely high.
Right.
But again, at some point, we would come across something left over of a 75-foot bird. Is it possible?
A lot of people say the Smithsonian has a lot of that evidence, and they've just covered it up. That's a whole nother podcast.
For what reason? Right. So I have this thing that if I put it out there, I would make so much money. Nah, maybe. I'm going to hide it. No way. No.
I don't know, Jay.
Thanks for playing.
Yeah, I don't know. A lot of people think that.
Yeah, well, and?
Yeah, well.
If I told you what a lot of people believe, you'd be shocked, right? There's a reason why we don't. There's a reason why we don't let me on all those tips.
Jay's fucking blood pressure just shot up like 10 fucking.
Yeah, the flat.
Look, he's turning red right now. Look at him.
Every time, because it's just so.
All I say is Earth is flat. He turns fucking red.
It's just. Yeah, crazy. Anyways.
Yeah.
So, do I believe that the Native Americans and many indigenous people have come across things that as they had to try, just like we're trying to figure out what a lot of these things are, you come up with these ideas and these theories. But again, the question is, at what point does this theory, does this idea kind of become a little bit of a legend, and that legend then kind of become, especially when you're going that far back, we're talking, you're going back beyond the written word.
Yeah.
So you have to describe things in such a visual way. It's one of the ways that when I coach kids, right? I use imagery. I speak in image to help them understand how they're supposed to move their body. It's literally how you program the human brain. It's the craziest thing. But that being said, at some point that line gets hazy, right? Bigfoot, Sasquatch, mermaids, unicorns, Republicans, all kind of same thing.
Yeah, mermaids is kind of interesting though, Jay, because mermaids has been around for a long time. Long time, because the maritime, historical.
As long as men have been going to sea, bro.
Right. Yeah, they've been talking about mermaids and, been written about in the Odyssey, the Iliad, of course, that classic novel by Homer.
Did you ever hear Coach Marone's joke about the bottom of the barrel?
I don't believe so. I probably did, but I forgot it. Well, go ahead, Jay.
So you have this young man, this new pirate, who's on his first pirate boat, going on his first pirate trip. And they're out on the pirate boat for a very long time. And he gets his urges. And one of his pirate buddies says, "We'll just go down to the barrel." He says, "I'm sorry." This is down at the very bottom of the boat. There's this barrel. Find this barrel. I don't know if I can actually tell the rest of this joke on YouTube.
Self-edit.
Yeah. Hey.
That's when a Gen Xer tries to tell a joke from his past.
Woo! I was trying to tiptoe around parts of it, and I was like, you know what? You know what?
It's no longer okay to say this joke.
It's a great joke. It's a fantastic joke, but no, it cannot be broadcast.
It already sounds good.
No, it cannot be broadcast ever. I will not even finish that joke while it's being
look it up on Google, guys. You years.
Maybe it's not. I'm sorry.
It's fucking
Friends,
great.
I'm sorry.
Oh, Jay's sorry.
Basically, long form of where I'm heading. You get out to sea for a long time, and sometimes you got to explain certain things, and sometimes you see certain things, especially when you're vitamin deficient. You've been out in the sun a long time.
Yeah.
You're sleep deprived.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, man. I've hallucinated off just being that tired, so I can only imagine.
Yeah, man. I hear you, bro. Yeah. I again, I think this is a good conversation for a lot of people to have when they talk about cryptids, because it kind of gets a lot of the truth out there, and kind of just like the sensical things about cryptids. Again, at the same time, Jay, you're going to be your stance that you don't believe in any of them, and I was going to continue to be on my stance that I believe a lot of things are possible, because if the paranormal, to me, this is how I kind of put things together here for me, and I'm going to give you a little bit about where my mindset is when it comes to cryptids.
No shade.
Is that I believe in the paranormal, and if you can believe in the paranormal, you would have to believe in something like a cryptid could exist. I think that it kind of falls hand in hand together, and I think that a cryptid can exist because of the paranormal being existed as well. And so I try to lend that out there to be a possibility. I'm not saying it's a definite, but again, there's a lot of eyewitnesses, a lot of people that see the same thing supposedly over and over and over and over again. Okay, cool, that's fine. But then again, maybe it's just something that we really don't understand or haven't discovered or really wrapped our heads around of why that's there or what we're seeing. Maybe that has something to do with it. So again, I'm going to stand there on that side of the fence. Jay, you're going to stand on the other side, which I totally respect. That's cool. That's what this whole discussion is about. We're supposed to.
And this again just goes to show you guys, as we are definitely best friends.
Yes,
we do not always agree on everything. Yeah, for decades at this point.
Yeah, some marriages haven't lasted that long. Come on.
No, not no. No, they don't.
No, they don't.
They don't. No, they don't.
No, they don't.
Yeah,
So.
we don't always agree on things, but you don't always have to. It's okay for everybody to think how they think and feel how they feel.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with agreeing to disagree and allowing someone to have their beliefs for whatever the reasons are. There's nothing. It's okay. I don't judge Will any other way just because he thinks.
And I don't judge him. I don't judge Jay any other way. I mean, and I respect what his position is. And to be quite honest with you, it's a very healthy position to be in, and a healthy, pragmatic, and conservative view to have. And I think that's a good thing. And that's not a bad thing. So you have to have both. You have to have both. You have to have both, because you know what? If we agreed on everything, the fucking podcast would be fucking boring. At the end of the day, right?
My God, it would be boring.
It would be boring. Oh, like, yeah, all right, yeah, hey, yeah, I agree with you too. Yeah, blah 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 blah. Yeah, okay, let's go.
It would be Fox News.
Come on. Oh, Jay. That's the 22 shot right there. Oh, that's great. Well, Jay, thanks so much. Listen, I think this is a good wrap up for tonight, talking about the cryptids. Good episode. Next couple episodes, we're going to have some guests on the podcast, so make sure you guys tune in for that. But again, Jay, where can everybody find all our stuff and all our content?
You can find us exclusively at Spreaker for all of your podcast necessities, or you can go directly to darkfringeradio.com and get it directly from these horses' asses. I mean, mouths.
That's right. And of course, don't forget YouTube. Check us out there and watch us there. And you can put faces to the voices, and check us out there at darkfringeradio.com. That's it, Jay. Thanks so much for joining us on another edition of Dark Fringe Radio, talking about cryptids. We'll see you guys again next week. And thanks for joining us on another edition of Dark Fringe Radio.
Dark Fringe Radio, your premier source for the paranormal, conspiracy theory, and true crime.